thank you for being here. All death is tragic, and my heart goes out to all who have lost someone from COVID. My heart also goes out to those who miss seeing their loved ones for the last time or missed out on so much in their formative years, such as their precious time at public universities in Ohio, like Miami University. Colleges like Miami have marketed themselves on the high value of an in-person experience to create well-rounded young adults ready to take on the world. They built beautiful bubbles like we see here. They charge dearly for that access, even as a taxpayer-supported public school. Then came COVID, and suddenly none of that mattered. Remote learning on laptops replaced the in-class experience, and kids were told it is just as good. So the price stayed the same. A premium price tag for an inferior product. That was wrong, as many students were incurring debt and families were making sacrifices. It got worse when the elites running universities needed cash, so they then said that living in dorms with a laptop was safe, but sitting in classrooms with instructors was not. Elites were teaching fear on one hand, but sending bills on the other. They were wrong in 2020, they're wrong now. In the past year, from August 1st, 2020 to August 1st, 2021, according to the state's own dashboard, 28 people, 29 and under, have died from or with COVID, each an individual tragedy. But did you know that in 2019, 35 people under 24 years old died of drowning in Ohio? That's right, drowning. Did Miami shut down its aquatic centers for fear? Did it mandate 3-foot-deep pools? Colleges are expected to understand mathematical principles such as risk and analysis. Do they really? Or are they driven by something other than facts, such as an agenda of restricted speech and compliance with a new world of government control over personal liberty? Let's look at some facts. In 2019 in Ohio, for people 24 and under, 247 died of poisoning, also known as drugs. That is nearly 10 times more than COVID deaths, yet liberals are screaming for drug legalization. 203 died in car accidents. 216 died of homicide. 256 died of suicide. 149 died of other injuries. But 28, we are told, died from or with COVID in the last full year. 28. Per the state's statistics, of 29 and under in the last year, 7.5% have tested positive for COVID. 0.08% have been hospitalized. 0.001% have died. Miami has about 15,000 students, so let's do the math. That would be about 12 hospitalized and 0.15 deceased. That's right, 0.15. I do not want to belittle anything about any tragic loss of life, but let's also not belittle personal rights with draconian and unnecessary measures. Allergies are when your immune system overreacts to low or non-threats. COVID triggered a societal allergy of overreaction. It must end. After a long, dark, unnecessary overreaction, our state is open again, for now. But places like this scream out for more fear. Forget observed reality. Forget needing to show real evidence. Just scream, it's science. I have news for you. In its day, the earth is flat was also accepted as science, and daring to say otherwise would have you burned at the stake. People, the stakes are higher than ever. Why am I the only Republican Senate candidate here in person? Almost all the Republican candidates took to social media to support the Miami Republicans. While I appreciate the few video messages, where are they now? What was more important than freedom at an academic institution in supposedly Republican Ohio? After all we've been through in the last year, nothing is more important. Do we talk, or do we fight? Senator Lang could not be here in person, but gave a great testimonial to freedom on video. Representative Hall was here, standing with these young people. I will challenge both. How about we demand a meeting with Miami's president and their trustees on this issue? I'll bring down my campaign RV. I have no mask requirement. Even better, how about we stand up and let ourselves be arrested for not wearing masks? In this building behind me, next week, if the university doesn't listen. I will challenge legislators across the state to do the same. I'm ready to get my rap sheet. Martin Luther King Jr. once described noble disobedience as being done openly, cheerfully, lovingly, civilly, and with a willingness to accept the penalty to expose a wrong. Was he more Republican than us? Are we willing to fight, ever? Where is University President Crawford? His online bio's second sentence says this: since his arrival at Miami, President Crawford has emphasized diversity and inclusion, engagement with students, and collaboration and interdisciplinary study across all of Miami's campuses and colleges. Remember when university presidents emphasized academic excellence? I guess President Crawford was too busy to have engagement with these students today. I guess inclusion is not something he cares about when it comes to people who say no to forced masking. There are no safe spaces for them. Let me be clear, standing right here. There should be no forced masking at Miami or at any public college in Ohio. Period. There should be no forced vaccination anywhere in Ohio. Period. Should people who want to wear protective gear and get vaccinated do so? Absolutely. In this bastion of liberalism, let me use a left-wing phrase: my body, my choice. We are told masks are good because elites in academia are protecting life. Okay, I'll offer a deal. If President Crawford will come here and proclaim his support for protecting life at all stages, from conception to natural death, I'll put on a mask. But you know he won't, because from Governor Mike DeWine down to President Crawford, it's not about protecting life. After all, the killer swimming pools are open. This is another example of education become indoctrination, including a culture where whatever freedoms you have come from elites, not from God. It's about educating us to comply, even when observed reality does not support the bureaucratic demands. Where are the university trustees? Are they all afraid of big bad Mike DeWine? Where are the benefactors who have paid for so many of the buildings here? I'm sorry for taking so much time. Anyone here remember Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman? Remember his famous "you're out of order" speech? To use his words, I am just getting warmed up. In his words, what a sham. What kind of a show are you putting on here today? Tolerance, freedom of expression, personal responsibility, where did it all go? Let's take it back. Where did scientific facts go? Where did courage go? The Miami website says Miami University continues to monitor and respond to shifts in public health guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, related to COVID-19. How has the CDC done so far with ever-changing guidelines? The acquiescence to the CDC and the government's edicts and unwillingness to fight for common sense has cost our kids dearly in 2020 in all schools. What is the cost of years of subpar education? How does it impact our competitiveness? How do we turn it around as politicians like Rob Portman and his friend Joe Biden dump more debt and devaluation on the next generation? Stop the insanity, stop the pandering, stop the virtue signal. Let people be free. Quit being agenda-driven bureaucrats and start standing up for kids and for common sense. One definition of insanity is to do the same thing again and again and expect different results. I want to add a new definition to that. One definition of insanity is to do the same thing again and again and expect to see no tangible results. Enough. I'm here to say no to forced masking in schools ever again. I'm a voice of reason and tolerance. As I said, I have no issue with those who want to wear masks or shields or both. I also have no issue with kids and families who get vaccinated. More power to them. I'm tolerant. How about leadership here? Kids only get one chance at growing up, of developing social skills, of laying an educational foundation for lifelong learning, of learning to assess risks and make their own risk decisions, of learning to live versus to live in fear. The leadership acquiescence at our public colleges to accepting the unobserved has left them trapped defending the idiotic. And when challenged with fact and observed reality, they blabber on about ever-changing CDC guidelines and mandates like fools who are afraid of their own shadows. Here is something simple to ponder and pretty common sense given the almost non-existent risk. Here is the policy we should have at public colleges across Ohio. Masks are optional. Students and staff are welcome to wear one or many masks, face shields, and gloves. Symptomatic people should isolate and should get tested. Those who specifically test positive should isolate. Faculty who are uncomfortable with doing their job, even wearing masks, shields, and gloves, and distancing, should be terminated so they can seek different opportunities at online universities. Simple, common sense, fair to all. Thank you for coming. Let's fight.